All right, peace, family. We are now live. We are now live. Thank you to everybody who is a Patreon subscriber, supporter. I am back with the brother Rod Hayes for another episode. You know what I'm saying? Of what we do on Patreon, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This episode tonight, we are going to be talking about a very well-known topic in the metaphysical community. But I haven't gotten my brother Rod Hayes' take on it. And as you know, this brother has he's connected differently. He's not book connected, he is cosmically connected. He is connected to this. He got a direct line to this mainframe computer we call Big Mama. And the brother's information has resonated with people because it stands out from a lot of other information out there on the web. So I'm sure we're going to get something new from the brother that we haven't heard, a different take on this chakra thing. I know we are all interested on activating certain chakras and clearing up blockages in certain chakras, because sometimes they say, well, yo, Rod, they'll be like, yo, you stuck on the second chakra. You ain't elevating. You know, if like say a brother just addicted to sex, they be like, yo, you on that root chakra shit. You got to elevate. And sometimes a person may be stuck on certain chakras. So without further ado, Rod Hayes, you heard what I said. You know what the goal is: to activate these chakras to to raise our consciousness, our kundalini, and all of that. I guess to start out with, what exactly, from your perspective, is these chakras and these avatar, and why do we need them?
Okay. So your brain is the command
Yeah,
center.
that sound, Rod. It always come at the beginning. It always come.
Let me go out and
All
come back
all
in.
right, get a brother 1 second. You know, the brother usually goes out, comes back in, and then the sound be gone. But yeah, it's gonna be a great interview on chakras today, family. It's gonna be powerful. Here go the brother right now. Right. Yeah,
Is
hello.
it there? If we got it?
You good? You good?
Okay. So the brain is the command center, right?
Mhm.
And then you have your second command center, which is your third chakra, which is your stomach, which governs your emotions. So your brain governs intellect and creativity. Your stomach, your third chakra, where your navel, between your navel and your solar plexus, governs your emotions. So you fast in order to get control of the emotional center, and then you begin to use your emotions in your real life as like a navigation system, like all of those controls on the in the cockpit of an airplane or helicopter. Those are the same thing that your emotions is to tell you. And your root chakra, people only know about being stuck in your root chakra related to sexual energy, but it's also rage energy, fight energy, aggression, all of them hyper masculine traits coming from the root chakra. The goal of man is to balance out his main seven chakras straight up the center, right? So you start with your root chakra, then you have your gonad, then you have your stomach chakra, then you have your thorax, which is your heart chakra, then you have your throat chakra, then you got your third eye, and then you got your crown chakra. That's straight up the middle. We call that the middle pillar. If you look for the middle pillar exercise for visualization, it's Israel Regardie's middle pillar exercise for the main chakras up the center. You're trying to align them. So you're trying to draw the energy from the root chakra to the crown chakra to cause your third eye to open up, your crown seat to open up. When your crown open up, this ties you into what you call the universal mind, universal consciousness. It's also called the thousand petaled lotus and the thousand point star, but it's at the crown chakra. The color is purple, right? Then you have the seven colors, but you got other chakras. Now, when you look in anatomy, when you want to study the chakras, you get what you call nerve ganglia. The nerve ganglias of each chakra are to assimilate a different frequency of energy from universe and translate it into a functional energy that the body can use as it navigate. Basically, they use in the chakra system as the receivers. They would become equivalent to those tubes in the inside of the old radios and TVs.
Right, 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 right.
Right. So this is equivalent to what your chakra system is doing. It's
Mm,
becoming a receiver and a condenser. It's a conversion of the energy of universe into something that we can use as navigational um, tools in the 3D world. So when we talk about opening the chakras and unblocking the chakras, we also talking about balancing the biochemistry, which
mm,
requires certain homeopathic techniques for the balancing out of the physical body.
mm,
Like most of us suffer from something called accumulated sleep deprivation. We suffer from accumulated dehydration. And these things come from all of those 2 hours here, 1 hour there, when we be sleeping like that.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
losing rest to the point where the body is going to be forced to break down after so much rest is lost
Mm,
because it's not properly prepared, repairing the body if you don't get proper rest. Any bodybuilder, when you go to the bodybuilding arena, they say that bodybuilding consists of main three things: work, feed the muscle, let it rest.
mm,
The muscle only grow when you in the what was called the sleep state, right?
mm,
So when we are in the sleep state, that's a form of stasis.
uh,
When you go into stasis, the energies in the body that comes in through the chakra begin to repair damaged parts of the body in the stasis state. That's what it's for. We
mm,
didn't always we didn't always have to repair the body when we ate platinum group metals in a monatomic form.
mm,
But we so far from that that now the body has to rest in order to repair itself,
mm,
right? But the mind never rests. That's why we have dreams,
mm,
right? And the more aligned your chakra is, the more it's conducive to lucid dreaming, astral travel, astral projection, and psychic reception.
mm,
All this is coming from working with the chakras and the energy of each chakra,
mm,
right? So when you talk about a nerve ganglia in modern medicine, we talking about pressure points in ancient Eastern medicine and what we call meridians in acupressure and acupuncture,
mm.
right? All of these ties back in to the seven main chakras, but it's four chakras that's just as important that they don't tell you about.
And what is
And
that?
that's it's one in each palm. It's one in each palm and it's one under each foot.
What? Okay, 1, 2, and 3, 4 on your foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the arches of your feet, those are your grounding chakras. That's why they tell
Mm,
you to walk barefooted on the earth, and because the earth resonance, when
mm,
it's vibrating at its proper frequency, also aids in the recovery of the organism
mm,
of man,
mm.
right? So the chakra system is so important that clogged chakras cause people's whole life to fall apart,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So what do we do and when we want to unclog the chakras, right? Some of the things is nutrition, proper nutrition. Clean your filters being your liver, your kidneys. And if you look at it, they each correspond to a chakra too. Your liver, your kidneys, your intestines, right? Then you talking about heavy metal cleanses because the heavy metals in the brain causes the electrical current in the brain to like ricochet in the brain. This is part of the cause of strokes that they don't tell us about because the neurons in the brain. When you look up a neuron, you can see the electrical current shoot from neuron to neuron. Those are brain cells. So when the neurons is firing, if it hits a piece of tin, aluminum, or The wrong copper, it's going to ricochet. It's going to arc. It's going to cause a disruption in the electromagnetic signaling in the brain or the central nervous system. Most people think that most strokes is the brain, but you can have a spinal stroke. Anywhere you have a nerve ganglia, you can have a stroke in that area. All you have to do is have a misfire that ruptures the receivers in the synapses at the end of each one of the cells. So this is part of overall health, right? So it's a guy who teaches semen retention named Montauk Chia, something like that. But he got a video on YouTube, and it's a real short video, and it tells you about the pump in the back at the medulla. The medulla, they tell you, is responsible for your balance. It's also a pump. It pumps cerebral spinal fluid along with the brain. The brain got four chambers that also pump cerebral spinal fluid. You got a brain beat the same as you got a heartbeat. But the brain normally is working at 50% capacity, left brain intellect driven mathematical sequential knowledge,
Mm,
right? So when you look at how they codify information, you always see a number, right? Because they got to keep the brain stuck in the left hemisphere.
mm,
The right hemisphere, you got a part right here called anterior gyrus. It's
mm,
also a chakra.
mm,
It's a separate chakra from your crown and your third eye, but it's never talked about. But it's
mm,
also a pipeline for data. When
mm,
Big Mama started talking to you, this whole right side of your head, where the anterior gyrus is,
mm,
that motherfucker come alive, and it feel like tingling as you hearing the information feeding
mm,
into the brain, right?
mm,
Right behind the anterior gyrus, you have the pineal gland.
mm,
The pineal gland is responsible for what we call third eye vision. So we talking number six of the seven root chakras,
mm,
right? Each chakra is also related to what we call a root race.
mm,
Now, the root races is born, they each vibrate automatically on one of the chakras at birth, right? And those warrior spirits with that Shango energy, Legba energy, Ogun energy come in to fight. They mostly come in banging out the root chakra because they come in with pure warrior energy,
mm, mm,
right? And everybody think it's a masculine energy, but it's what we call Shakti. It's actually divine feminine energy,
mm.
or what we would call Sekhmet energy.
So wait, hold up. Warrior energy is divine feminine energy?
Yeah, that's Sekhmet energy.
A segment energy.
Yeah, it's also in India they call it Kali energy, Kali Ma.
Yeah.
That's why they have her with the gruesome looking face, because she's at war for her children.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring the worst out of her when they see her in her Kali form,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? So when she not in her Kali form, she in her what we would call chemetically her offset form, divine feminine grand matriarch energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we know Big Mama energy. Then you got Mama energy. Mama energy is the offset energy. So that's more resonant to Earth frequency, where Big Mama energy is more resonant with universal consciousness and the energy of dark matter, what we call chaos energy. And only you have to be trained to a certain level to assimilate and control that chaos energy so it don't cause you to mentally and emotionally implode.
Indeed, indeed. Wow. So when we dealing with these chakras, like let's say you come down here as a musician, like I guess depending on your destiny, how do souls so you're saying souls enter the body because they're saying chakras are portals. So do I have to go through a certain chakra if I want to fulfill a certain destiny? Is that how that works?
No, it don't quite work like that, because you got when you coming in on the root chakra, depending on what's going on in the world at the time of your birth
Mm-hmm.
and your underlying purpose of being born. Like we believe that we just be born because two people had sex.
Mm-hmm. And that's not the case.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. We come in with a purpose.
Uh-huh.
Everybody got a purpose, but most people never discover it until they up in age
Mm-hmm.
because it take a long time to learn how to read your personal book of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to be able to reflect back on your life at the lessons you learned to determine why you were being taught the lessons you were being taught.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you're talking about assimilating this energy, the chakras are they all governed by a different sound too. It's a book called The Songs of the Spheres, and it's about the universal sounds that you pick up as you activate these chakras, but it's not telling you that. It's telling you as you wake up from the slumber, you
Mm-hmm.
hear these, sometimes it's bells,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's drums, sometimes it's violins, harmonicas. All of
Mm-hmm.
these instruments, the instruments are all tuned to operate at a particular chakra,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the drum in modern hip hop, we bring in 808, that's a war drum. The 808 is an automatic war drum.
Mm-hmm.
It automatically stir warrior energy, right? So they want to control hip hop because the words you put over a war drum is critical.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen, Tupac got a song and he said that's why I keep my shit beat bumping and warlike,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because he's trying to hit a certain chakra on a certain person in order to elicit the reaction. Because like he say, if I ain't successful, this next motherfucker ain't gonna be so nice,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he said, I guarantee you I sparked a brain that'll change the nation. Now, that
Right.
a guarantee is a powerful word,
Mm-hmm.
but he understood the harmonics in the music, the effect of the bass drum, our culture for talking on the drum, our history is griot, so telling it in the songs around the campfires. And he put all that shit together and dropped it into hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they needed to get the warriors stirred up in order for us to reclaim our inheritance, which
Mm-hmm.
is our rights to the earth rights, to restore the earth, the air, and the water to its pristine form,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you see now they're getting rid of all of the GMO foods, but they're telling you that it's an impending food shortage.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a food shortage, it's a GMO shortage,
Mm-hmm.
right? And GMOs are also designed to clog chakras,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the chemical reaction causes the body to constrict certain chakra energies in order to try to protect the body from being affected by the GMO,
Right. Because
right?
the body is so busy fighting off the chemicals from the food, you're saying.
Right. That it don't have the opportunity to allow that chakra enough free time to relax.
Mm.
And it can't relax and open up and receive the energy from the universe because the
Mm.
body is under attack, right?
Yeah.
It's and like sugar, people think sugar bad. It's not the sugar. It's not the flour. It's the bleaching agent. The bleaching agent is what's toxic to us.
Uh-huh.
Because 80% of your carbohydrates, which includes your sugars, your glucose, is consumed by the brain. So if you're talking about facilitating high function, you got to have a high level of carbohydrates that convert to glucose and sucrose and fructose that convert to glucose for the brain to use it in order for it to uh, be able to function at a higher capacity,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And that's another thing that they don't want us to know because that's why they used to give children candy. That's a last 50-year thing. They used to give them snacks that was like give them a fried chicken leg. We didn't have all of this candy shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It became a blessing and a curse because some of the dyes agitate the nervous system of the children and make them hyperactive. And they telling the parent to dope them up with Adderall and
Yeah.
Ritalin because they got ADD and ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't. They got motherfucking overdose or motherfucking
Of
die.
them. Yeah. Mm.
That's in the candy,
Yeah.
right? Like we don't think that shit be real, but we forget about what was called the Twinkie defense.
What's
You ever
that?
heard of that?
No, what's that?
So it was a dude in California back in I think it was the 80s.
Mm.
He walked into the courthouse and shot like three or four people.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was the rush that he got from the Twinkie that interfered with his ability to conform his conduct to the requirements of the law.
Oh shit.
Therefore, the Twinkie drove him insane enough to commit the act that he wouldn't have otherwise committed, and he won.
Yo, you serious?
He won the case.
When was this?
It was in the 80s. All you got to do is Google Twinkie defense.
Wow. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So they talking about the Twinkie gave him a sugar rush and that he couldn't control the sugar rush,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it ain't the Twinkie. It was the dyes that the old Hostess company used to use
Mm-hmm.
in the Twinkie that they found that is really the cause of the hyperactiveness in the people that eat the Twinkies, right?
Mm.
So they changed the ingredients in the Twinkies after that.
Wow. Did not know that, my brother. I'm glad you mentioned that. And I'm glad you mentioned the food we eat, the effect on the chakras and
Right.
how it and the body's so busy fighting, a foreign invader, which is these chemicals that the chakras can't do what it does. How important when it comes to the chakras, how important, because I just had a talk with the brother Kalai, how important is sunlight when it comes to the chakras in terms of
The
getting clear?
sunlight is a great support, especially
Uh,
crown, third eye, and throat chakras and heart chakra.
uh,
Those solar rays cause your energy in your mitochondrial to turn up, which turns up your DNA function, which allows more chemicals to be released from a microscopic level in the body. The body is a walking pharmacy filled with chemicals designed to do different functions at different times. And most of the time, we don't realize what's going on in the body. We take our bodies for granted. But the sunlight is the UV rays are especially for the melanated people. The UV rays, because your melanin is an independent thinker, so it gives you another brain, entirely another brain, to receive the information that comes in on those solar rays. So the sunlight becomes very critical to the whole awakening process.
So let's talk about this concept of melanin being an independent thinker.
Hmm.
So, we got all these thoughts running through our head. They say the parasites make us think certain things. Like go eat this or go eat that or go be with this person. They're toxic. I want to match their parasites or whatever. What does the melanin, if it's an independent thinker, what does the melanin make us think?
The melanin only is concerned with what we call spiritual input,
Hmm.
right? The melanin doesn't facilitate low vibrational um, ideas. It's dark matter that is condensed into the human body to aid your spiritual awareness.
Hmm.
When it's all the way turned on, you can see it in Kalao, some of his videos, where when that chakra, when that melanin is turned on, it make you glisten in the sun,
Yeah,
right?
we was
Because
talking about that. Yeah, we was talking
right,
about that.
so
Yeah.
this it's called the crystalline nature of DNA. DNA is made up of amino acids in a crystalline form,
Mm.
right? That forms into a massive hard drive of data.
Mm.
And they all work together in order to constantly fact check the information you received over all of your lifetimes. So it's feed you your what we call a genetic memory. Your genetic memory cannot be activated if they keep you in darkness. You have to be exposed to this to the sunlight in order to start to activate that crystalline secretions from the crystalline activation of the DNA. When it's the DNA starts to wake up, then the part that they call junk DNA become active, then you start seeing different physiological responses in correlation to that. And that all ties into the convergence of all of the chakras at the heart chakra. Because now you're trying to expand your torsion field, which they
Mm,
call it expanding your aura. It's a
mm,
torsion field. Our aura is a torsion field. The Earth atmosphere is a torsion field. The whole solar system is in the sun's torsion field. That's why
mm,
they stay in orbit,
mm,
because they all inside of the torsion field. Earth, I mean, the sun is in the torsion field um, of what we call the Milky Way galaxy. Though I question that myself, because they got a picture of the Milky Way galaxy and the arrow pointing to Earth saying you are here. And I want to know who took the picture, and they can't tell me,
mm,
right? But however, say that we are at what we call the loose expanse of a tail on the Milky Way galaxy, and it's a torsion field, and the torsion field inside spin, and it makes it look like a whirling uh disc, almost like a fan with two blades,
mm, mm,
right? So all of these torsion fields, everywhere you see a black hole, that's the center of a torsion field.
mm,
And so the energy get converted. The woman's uterus and connects with the heart, and it's the manifesting part of the torsion field.
mm,
And this is why when they be talking about putting the uterus in a man is utterly ridiculous, because his heart can't facilitate that energy that's required. It probably will overload his system.
mm,
If if it's a real genetically born male, his system will break down. He's not going to live a long life.
mm, mm. Wow. So we got the we've talked about the chakras, we've talked about the third eye, we've talked about the aura. In terms of the aura, a lot of people say that the aura is the real you. Now, is it the real you or is it just the projected you from the ego? Because isn't the
No,
aura constantly
look,
changing?
you ever see a light bulb, and around the light bulb, it look like it's a glow around it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the aura. It's the glow. The aura is generated from the reflection. We a whole neutron star walking around in the body,
Mm-hmm.
in the avatar.
Mm-hmm.
So that neutron star is projecting energy, right? You can feel it because it comes off the body as heat,
That's heat.
right?
Mm.
So when you get ill, the heat in your body turns up. Why do it do that?
A
Because it
fever.
got
When you have a fever.
right.
Yeah.
So the purpose of the fever is to take the body's temperature so high that whatever the bacteria or virus that is fighting, it
Mm-hmm.
can't survive the temperature increase.
Mm-hmm.
But then some of them can last at a higher temperature in the human body, and that fever can cause you to have a breakdown in the organism in the form most likely of stroke.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So them giving us like us taking like Tylenol that defeats the purpose of what our body's trying to do, because the Tylenol wants to reduce the fever, but the body wants the fever to go higher. So it's like kind of contradicting each other then, huh?
Right. Well, it's artificially bringing the temperature down.
Mm.
What we used to do before we used Tylenol was rub the body down with alcohol to dissipate the heat.
You mean
Alcohol evaporate at a lower temperature than water.
like liquor
As it
alcohol, you mean?
rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol. Okay, 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 okay.
Okay, so if and they used to use whiskey too back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
they rub you down with the alcohol. The
Mm-hmm.
alcohol allow the body to dispense with heat faster, to allow the body's temperature to be controlled by the autonomic nervous system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so that was what we did before Tylenol and
Mm-hmm.
aspirin.
Mm-hmm.
right? The bad thing about Tylenol is its effects on the liver. I had back problems, so I was on Tylenol for years.
Mm,
But it caused me to have side effects with a fatty liver that I had to keep doing liver cleanses, and I'm still not done,
mm, mm,
right? But that was from the constant use of Tylenol to endure the pain,
mm,
especially in the prison system where they give you a ibuprofen in a cup of water, fuck your stomach up,
mm,
you know.
mm,
But those chemicals are all pharmaceutical chemicals is weaponized against the people. Period.
mm, 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 mm,
The only ones you got some that's useful like antibiotics,
mm.
but they're not useful in massive doses. You
Right,
can't
right,
keep
right.
taking that stuff and don't expect the body to have an imbalance somewhere.
Mm, mm, mm,
So it defeats the like if you got a sudden infection and you take antibiotics for 7 days, right? Then you straight. But if you doing like a lot of bodybuilders was taking antibiotics damn near every day for no purpose, just to keep the body in free of the bacteria or virus that they was trying to prevent catching in the gym. And over time, their body develop a condition where the antibiotics can't cure whatever they encounter. Their whole body is resistant to the use of antibiotics.
mm. Because they've been taking them so long.
Yeah.
Wow.
But in short term medicine, they not bad. Long term medicine, they horrendous.
Mm, mm,
Right. So you got to look at most people don't know, you got to look at the condition of the patient, because if they in what you call an emergency crisis, then you can use whatever you can right now to get them to
mm,
stasis or a balanced state.
mm, mm, mm,
Once you get them there, then you work on balancing the nutrition, bringing their chakras into alignment, right? Like a lot of people, a good thing for to cleanse the aura is a hot Epsom salt bath, right? With whatever essential oil you cleansing for, you look at the properties of the oil.
mm,
Also, you got oils that's specific to chakras that activate energy in a certain chakra region. So
mm,
you read up on the oil and you also do the same with the stones, right? You get a book on stones to tell you what chakra do the stone resonate with,
mm.
right? So
Do you have any example of the essential oils that resonate with certain chakras? Like eucalyptus? Like, is that a would
yeah, so eucalyptus oil is um it's a psychostimulant,
mm,
right? So would that mean that it would most likely be working on either third eye crown chakra energy because it's stimulating the brain and the
mm,
psychic responses.
mm,
Um you got you got herbs for the root chakra. Spicy foods is what feeds the root chakra. That's
mm.
why you always hear them talking about the Latino heat, and they talking about the passion of that passion come because they eat all that hot ass shit steady stirring up that root chakra. They be ready to
Right.
motherfucking fight.
Right, right, right. Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Right. So you got stones like the cat's eye is sync to the third eye.
Mhm.
You got stones that sink like crystals, clear quartz crystals is you can use it in the palms, left hand reception, right hand projection, unless you left handed. It's a reverse,
Mhm, mhm.
right? So all of these different stuff. So you get books, Cunningham's um essential oils. He got one on stones because Cunningham's essential oils, Cunningham stones, then you got candles. So all of these can energies you can use to harness or to focus on a chakra at a time,
Mhm.
right? And you can start at your root chakra, right? Doing root work. When they talk about root work, they talking about lower chakra, root chakra, prostate on men. It's the uterus in the woman. It's the root chakra. It's the sex energy. It's the warrior energy. It's that unbridled Shakti. that they call Kriya. Kriya in yoga is the fire energy of the root chakra. So
Mm,
all of that is tied into diet, exercise, mental state, all of them converge when you start doing the chakra work. Once you get the root chakra where you can control your mind while your root chakra is going haywire, that's going to automatically make it begin to move up the chakra sequence,
mm,
right? Now, earlier we talked about the pump in the medulla.
mm,
It's the secondary pump in what they call the sacrum, right?
mm,
At the base of the spine. It's a secondary pump,
mm,
right? So now you got three pumps operating simultaneously that have to be synced to raise what we call the sacred secretion or
mm,
the Christ oil,
mm,
right? Now it's stuck at the right at the root chakra, but it's in the bony spine of the coccyx,
mm,
right above the coccyx in your hip joint.
mm,
And inside that joint, it's like the pump looked like a honeycomb of bone,
mm,
right? But it pulsates.
mm,
But it's responding to the pump at the medulla, at the base of the skull.
mm,
And that got to work with the four chambers in the brain that work just like the heart. So you got two secretions, silver and gold. The silver is your common cerebral spinal fluid, and you got traces of colloidal silver, colloidal gold in it,
mm, mm,
right? So when the sacred secretion come up, now you're talking about higher quality platinum group metals being infused
mm.
in this oil that look like olive oil,
Right, right.
right? So
Mm,
when our parents do those church rituals and bless you with the olive oil,
mm,
before we use olive oil, we use something that we call alligator oil in the Mississippi Delta.
mm,
But in South America, they use crocodile oil from the saltwater crocodile. But in Egypt or the Nile Valley, they use crocodile oil the same. So this oil look just like olive oil,
mm,
and um, it's in your sacrum, and that's why it's called the sacrum sacrorum or the sacred secretion or the sacrum secretion, and it rises up through your the channel in the center of your spine. That's what they call kundalini rising,
mm,
right? So once that elixir get to the four chambers of the brain, then your third eye can see the black dot at the base of the spine, and it gives it what you call the Lucifer effect, where it flips out everything the way that it's supposed to be seen, as opposed to the way you was told to look at it.
mm, mm.
And that's why once they say, "Man, know thyself," you cannot be deceived. You can only deceive yourself, but the problem with that is you can always know you deceiving yourself.
Yo, what's your thoughts? We okay, so we covered a lot in this video in such a short amount of time. I want to talk about because I did a video with this brother, but I got to get your perspective on Lucifer. What's your thoughts on the science of Lucifer, the being called Lucifer, Lucifer inside of us, the light bringer? Talk to me about this concept of Lucifer.
Look, Lucifer is another name for the divine feminine mother of all. They didn't miss butcher this shit in this
What you
religious
mean, Big
world.
Mama?
Yeah, that's another name for it. When she
It's
in Big
another.
Mama, Big Mama as Lucifer, we call her Lilith.
Ah.
In her Lucifer form, we call her Lilith, the dark mother, ruled by Saturn. That's why she operates in the dark phase of the moon, the dark mother. Saturn energy comes in on the dark phase of the moon uninterrupted. The moon is the Eve energy, Hawa, the tribal leader on the earth.
Mm-hmm,
The the little white lady versus the big old black mama in the back,
mm-hmm,
right? So this is your lunar energy, being a lesser energy, but by being closer to the earth, it blocks out or absorbs the Lilith energy, and then it convert it back and be like, look what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is the whole Lucifer concept is about, if you study optics, when you study optics, you will realize that the the visual cortex flips the world upside down in order for you to have the sensation of walking upright.
The visual cortex flip things upside down for us to have the sensation of walking upright.
Yeah. We really, when you look at the earth in the orb form, we always upside down no matter where we at.
Why?
Because we are walking on a ball. You walking on the ball, no matter when the ball is in outer space, every way is up from the ball.
Mm.
So you always got your feet on the ball and your head is always pointed up when you walking.
Damn, the flat earth is gonna be mad at you, Rod.
I don't give a damn. They crazy anyway because they don't know the difference when they see the waveform Earth versus the 3D particle formed Earth.
Uh,
Right. So I'm not saying they all the way crazy. I'm just saying that their spiritual sight is clouding their physical judgment. Because this motherfucker is definitely an orb made with a torsion field running around it as an atmosphere.
mm-hmm.
And I done seen that motherfucker from my Titan form, so I already know what I'm talking about because I done seen it from outside of the Earth's atmosphere.
Indeed. So there's when we think about Lucifer, there's nothing to be afraid of when we hear that word.
Look, everything that they tell you to be scared of, that's where all of the shit at. That's why they want you to fear it. Bobby Hemmett told y'all that. All the shit they tell you to fear is where your power at. Anything they tell the devil, you a devil worshiper. You goddamn right. Devil worshiper mean you worship. Listen, devil worshiper mean you worship your enemy, because devil only mean enemy. Get that spooky shit out of it. It just mean the enemy, the adversary, the opponent, the motherfucker on the other side of the chess table.
Uh.
That's all it mean. It don't mean all that motherfucker crawling out the ground with a dark figure form and horns on his head. That's some bullshit to spook you away from embracing the inner genius of who you are.
Mm.
That's why they say, man, know thyself. You won't even fall for that shit. All of the spooky shit the religions told you to stay away from, that's where your power at.
Mm. Mm.
And what's out of everything else the church fear the most, what do they tell you to stay away from and avoid the most? Every denomination of the church wants you to avoid. It ain't devil worship.
What is it?
Voodoo.
Oh, voodoo. Yeah, 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 yeah. They
They so scared of fucking
yeah.
voodoo, right? If they find a motherfucker that's good at that shit, they finna plot to murder his ass.
Whew. In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
Whew.
They call it casting out the demon.
Mm.
But even the word demon don't mean what they told you it mean. Let's talk about your higher self. The daemon. The daemon is the spirit form that inhabits the man as a light body. That's the daemon. But
Mm.
as long as you in fear, you won't never do the research to find out what the fuck they talking about.
Mm.
Because you're scared of it already,
Mm.
right? The snake. They villainize the snake. All it means is a trainee, an apprentice. The dragon just mean a master. The grand dragon is a great master. He a master that raised other masters,
Mm.
right? So they giving us all of these things, but they not telling us what they really mean,
Mm.
right? Then they attach the fear to it to keep you away from it.
Mm.
That's the fear barrier.
Mm.
When you look at the Kabbalistic tree of life, the fear barrier runs right under the heart as a black line. That's the fear barrier. Once you bust through the fear barrier, they can't stop you no more.
Mm.
There's nowhere else to go but from your heart chakra to your crown. right?
So from the heart to the crown, there's no the heart chakra to the crown chakra. There's no fear barrier.
Nope.
The all the fear is down here.
Yeah, it started at the emotional center down. It's
Mm,
a okay, so yo remember this. Your stomach controls your emotions, right? Your root chakra controls your rage,
mm,
right? Your third chakra um controls your urinary system and the energy that comes with it. Oh, that's a gonad energy. That's reproduction.
mm,
All right. So now they got you stuck in the 3F scenario.
mm,
Scientists call it fear fucking fight.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
Right? That's your lower three chakras. As long as you in fear fucking fight mode, you can't never get higher. You're not gonna never trust nobody because you ain't trustworthy. You stuck in that lower energy. When they talk about low vibrational energy, they're talking about a combination of the lower three chakras in the world to manifest. When you hit that heart chakra, it starts to purify those lower three chakras. They call that the purification of the ego.
Mm,
And then you got what you call your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is your fifth chakra, right? And the number five is change. So it can't be a change until somebody speak on that shit, right? But you got to speak on it with the husia, authoritative utterance, and the exceptional insight. You just can't use the hua,
mm,
right? The hua by itself is just a good firm talking to. But with the exceptional insight, it's telling the person how to solve the problem in order to make the problem totally go away. That's a whole different animal.
mm,
So Malachi wrote in the Holy Tablets, he said, a leader, that's a leader. When he goes to solve the problem, he find a problem solution that's workable everywhere.
mm.
Because if the solution is not workable everywhere, it's not truly workable anywhere.
Anyway, okay.
Right? So it could be a temporary fix until the true fix come along.
Mm, mm, mm,
The temporary fix is the elections and the masquerading as if we had a government, which was actually a corporation that was serving an interim government contractual purpose
mm,
commissioned by King George III and the Dirty Moors.
mm, mm,
Now, if you want to know who the Dirty Moors is that did this, you have to look in the Washington Memorial because their names is on their fezzes. Because when we surrendered our feathers, they had to surrender their fezzes.
mm,
But they said we wasn't gonna never figure out who we was, so they destroyed our shit because they thought they were just gonna win.
mm,
But they was wrong, right? Because we only needed one motherfucker to remember that we didn't come on those ships, we was already here.
mm,
Part of that memory is in your DNA. And
mm.
they was teaching us everything they could teach us in the educational or miseducational system to not look inward for the answers that we see in the out external world.
But the Moors taught we didn't come from the ships either. Them slave ships. I might have to do a video with you on YouTube. The next YouTube video we do might have to be the difference between the fez and the feather. Woo!
That's perfectly fine with me. But the dirty Moors ain't gonna like it, but the righteous Moors understand where I'm coming from.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
The dirty Moors gonna probably come at your head,
Mm,
but the righteous Moors was gonna show gratitude for you having me on.
mm,
When the dirty Moors come out though, long as you don't see they three-letter military, paramilitary organization,
mm,
you good. They paramilitary organization is the Jewish Defense League, the JDL.
mm,
They political damage control is the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, who don't allow you to say anything about them because you might mess around and tell somebody that these black Moors is the ones who's supposed to be the Jews who came over here to undermine the Edomites or the Adamites or the original man in order to establish their kingdom on earth when they don't belong here.
hold up, man. Hold up. That's hold up. That's a whole nother
Look,
show. Hold up. Hold up.
all that Jewish shit, that's what that is. All that Jewish shit. Jews is
Yes.
motherfucking blood-sucking thieves. We call them satanic Jews when you want to get specific, or Zionist Jews.
Yeah.
Because the average so-called Jew is just a puppet, a front man, a cat's paw, a
Mm,
fall guy, a stunt dummy,
mm,
crash dummy.
mm,
He just put out there to take the heat, so you won't ever know that them niggas look like us, but they ain't us. And they came to take everything we got. And they declared war against us until the end of the age. Well, we at the end of the age, and I'm declaring to shut they shit down at the end of the age.
mm.
That's where we at with it. This gonna always be our shit. Ain't no motherfucker gonna come from Andromeda. Ain't no motherfucker coming from Nibiru. Ain't no motherfucker coming from Ritz. Ain't a motherfucker coming from Orion or any of them other places and just conquer us, and we be good with that shit. We believe in protracted struggle because we know that nature take how long nature take, and we use nature to fight our war. That's why Elijah Muhammad said stay away from the firearms. It's the same that Amo and Namos told um, the motherfuckers in Africa, the Dogon, not to use the projectile weapons because they already knew that when Enlil came, they was going to introduce projectile weapons into the human arena so that they can use us in their war games to keep us distracted long enough for them to subjugate us while they
Mm.
collect their gold, right? So all of the tribes are not related on Earth, but all of the tribes of the Earth, it's a total of 13 of them. Big Mama House is number 13, represented by the colors black and gold. On the land, we call that house the Vice Lord House. Daddy House is the Blue Lodge. Mama House is the Red Lodge, right? So we talking Peace Stones, Red Lodge, Chief Malik Angel Bay. We talking Fatherland, Gorilla Knocking. We talking Big Tookie, Crip Nation, Crooked Man walking across the land, and we talking about the chairman, the spokesman, um, Larry Hoover, right? So they say Larry Hoover renounced the gangster disciples. I'm glad he did. He should have been did that shit again. Cause he did that shit in 73, but they told him if he ain't wear that crown, he was gonna be put to death. So he decided to wear the crown. That's a duress defense all day in the court of law.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you gotta run this shit or die.
Mhm.
What you gonna do? Any
Mhm.
one of them motherfucking judges they doing the same thing. They running that motherfucking shit because now they on the inside and now they can't talk about what they know. And they doing the dirt. They covering up the socially secret motherfuckers while they putting regular motherfuckers in prison,
Right, 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 right.
right? They catch me with motherfucking 10 crack rocks, give me 20 years, and they catch Hunter
Mm.
on video smoking, and they don't even arrest, they don't even question him,
Right, right. Crazy.
right? So double standard.
Yeah.
This the shit that we didn't tolerate on the land. That's how you know who not from here because they support that shit.
Mhm.
The ones who from here, we just want to be left the fuck alone, and we want to treat people the way we want to be treated. Golden rule. Apply that shit. I don't give a fuck what you look like.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anything don't belong on Earth won't be here long because right now the changes that the Earth is going through is a purge, and it ain't no humans doing no purge. Mother Nature doing that shit. Big Mama cleaning house. Motherfuckers been laughing. I've been telling them watch the weather. Been telling them for the last year and a half, y'all watch the weather. She whooping their ass. They not paying attention. They wasn't paying attention to the blizzard in Texas. They wasn't paying attention to the same time they had a blizzard in Saudi Arabia,
Mm.
in the Middle East, some goddamn where. They
Mhm.
wasn't paying attention when them earthquakes was rolling around the world in an organized format. They wasn't paying attention,
Mhm.
right? I'm pointing this shit out and they calling me crazy.
Mhm.
But now we at the what we call end game scenario. We
Mhm.
talking Red October,
Mhm.
right? We talking about um what's that It was the August, one of the motherfucking August thing. They had all of these events
Mm-hmm.
that they scheduled to happen at this time. All that doomsday shit, man, that shit some bullshit. Get that shit out y'all head.
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo ain't got nothing to do with devil worship.
Mm-hmm.
All voodoo is the shadow work, learning the shadow work and compelling the people around you to be accountable to do their own shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
All of the implements tying you to the Orishas is to unlock your DNA. The Orishas is different parts of the biological system, and it's each controlled by an Orisha. You can look the Orisha up and see what chakra they govern. We know Shango governs the root
Root
chakra.
chakra, right?
We know that because all that goddamn red that motherfucker wear, it's no mistake about it.
So do you know which Orisha? Do you know as far as every chakra we have? Do you know each Orisha that governs that chakra?
I don't remember him by heart because it's too easy to look up. But I
Mm-hmm.
know Obatala, the old man, represents the crown chakra, and the great mother represents the third eye
Mm-hmm.
in the orishas. But all of the seven main orishas represent the seven main chakras.
Is there any chakra that's the most important, or are all
Nope.
of them just as important? Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know, you might be say the heart because the heart directly affects the mitochondria. It might be the most important, but they all got significance. You know, but without that heart chakra, um, there's like it's hard to make your lower self connect to your higher self,
Without the heart chakra being
and
open,
it's the hardest one to open because a man need a woman to do it.
how does a woman do that for a man? What do you mean? How does
Look,
a man
when
can't just have an open heart chakra, born with a yeah? What when you say woman, you mean a mother, or you mean like your mate? Like you gotta, what do you mean by that?
women can do it unconsciously, they don't know they doing it.
Mm, okay.
But let's say you meet a chick,
Wow.
right? You like her, so you
Yeah.
want to spend some time with her. That term, spend some time with her,
Mm.
you buying some motherfucking mitochondrial activation energy.
Woo.
So what you spending in time, she's returning it in multiples of 10
Damn.
in energy exchange. That's why if you go back to some of my videos from about a year and a half ago, I kept saying if you 9 vote niggas don't boss up your game, these 250,000 vote women gonna short you out,
Mm.
right? Well, it kind of worked like this. The easiest way to put it, for you can't find the right girl if she don't love you as much as your mama. The love energy got to match at the heart chakra.
Brother, that's hard for a lot. Bro, Rod, our mama love us. To be the man, that's hard. A lot of brothers gonna be like, Rod, man, how I'm gonna get that? That's a hard one there, bro, Rod.
You gonna know because your mama gonna just start talking good about her. Ain't never met her.
Mm,
They talking to you, through you, about you, in your face, behind your back, on the
mm,
psychic channel, and
mm,
the psychic channel come through the heart chakra.
mm,
As soon as that woman love match your mamas, they can communicate like they in the same room from the other. They quantumly entangled.
mm,
You don't know it because you are on the fool's journey.
mm,
Every one of us go on the fool's journeys. Some of us fuck up. Some
mm,
of our mothers ain't right, which make her son not be right. But some of the sons had a good father that bumped him straight. So even if his mama don't be all the way right, he can see the blind spot.
right.
And then he can make adjustments.
Mm,
Right? So that's how a son end up taking control of his mother's household when he become an adult in order to help her get her life together when all his life, her life was never together.
mm,
But the energy he drew from his father allowed him to fix both sides of the family tree. That's what they say when they say honor your mother and your father that your days might be long on this earth. Because by
mm.
doing that, that's how you get to control both sides of the family. Red and blue make purple. That's a royal flip. So
mm,
you're trying to develop the nobility in the person. That's what they call the great works, the great arcana, the building of Solomon's temple. And the
mm,
temple is the body, because the body is the what houses the soul of man. And Solomon is the soul of man,
mm,
the solar man.
mm,
SOL is Latin for sun,
mm,
right? And that sun is the central sun that emanates the torsion field from the heart chakra,
mm, mm.
right? And
So
the torsion,
what would you say is more powerful? Got more voltage, the heart chakra or the sun we see in the sky? What's more of a sun? Because the heart chakra, they say it's 5,000 times more powerful than the brain electromagnetic energy. The heart chakra is a direct extension of our soul energy. Is our heart more stronger, more brighter than the sun?
is different. You gotta remember the mitochondria is what you call a step down capacitor,
Mm,
right? The chakras are energy converters,
uh,
right? So the energy had to be converted by all of the chakras in order to raise the mitochondrial energy.
mm, mm,
Women control mitochondria,
mm,
but they only control it in the name of love. That's why they control it,
mm,
right? Men are not naturally lovey-dovey motherfuckers. We naturally war driven.
mm,
That's natural to us because we naturally drawn from them lower three chakras out the gate.
mm,
It's when we pursue higher knowledge that we start pulling that energy through the heart chakra. And as we pursue the higher knowledge, we're looking for a woman to turn on the heart chakra and allow your mitochondria to turn up so your consciousness and your intelligence can expand. This is when they call it balancing of the heart and the brain. You the brain, she the heart.
mm,
You study for higher knowledge, and she's striving for higher expressions of love.
Damn, that's
So this is why women love stories, but men like action movies.
Ooh.
Cause she's converting the love energy. She's taking it in, assimilating as much as she can on her own mitochondria. She's building herself, right? And as she learned lessons in life that allows her to be better in character, her heart chakra, her heart. That's what you ever hear the term. She got a big old heart. She love everybody,
Mm, mm,
right? So that's a wide open heart chakra energy, and it's the energy that a motherfucker can literally slap the dog shit out of you, and you can look at him and laugh.
mm.
But I'm not that loving yet, so that shit probably won't go too well for me. But some people reach that attainment at that level. But me, I'm from a full chakra perspective, right? That means from the root chakra to the crown chakra, or as they say, from the rooter to the tutor.
For the root of yeah.
So, if you smack me, I'm gonna knock your ass out because I believe that sometime in order to do the right thing, you gotta fuck a motherfucker up.
Man, hey man. On that note, man, I want to thank you for today's Patreon video. Um explaining things more in depth and explaining things from your perspective help us to understand it more thoroughly, Rod. So I definitely appreciate that. Anything you want to leave us with before we get out of here, my brother, about the chakras, the third eye, or anything else?
So just remember the basics is the heavy metal cleanse, the
Mm-hmm.
cleansing of the body's filter. Don't neglect the lymphatic system because it's the filter that we don't know about, right? Also nutrition helps with control of all of your facilities, your mental, your emotion. If you malnourish, all of those things are out of whack.
Mm,
So we look into nutrition, we look into cleanses, and we look into heavy metal cleanses, in order for our brains to operate more functional. A lot of people love that beef, but I would avoid the saturated fats and go with the unsaturated fats whenever possible, which is
Mm-hmm.
going to be more like bison, elk, venison,
Mm-hmm.
right? So these are the things that's going to help you to overcome the poisons they put in us. But we about to get a crash course and grow your own food because the GMOs being removed is removing a substantial cross section of our dietary reach. So a lot of stuff that's going to be remade under new ingredients if we're going to keep that type of food, and a lot of things, GMOs and glutens and all that shit, going to be extracted from the food because it don't need to be there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So those are the things. Spiritual baths are important, right? So it's a good book called 105 Spiritual Baths on Amazon for about $10. They
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of good cleanses, and you remember, you can match the oils to the
Mm-hmm.
chakras, you can
Mm-hmm.
match the stones to the chakras, you can match candles and incense to the chakras in order to work individually with chakras, or you can do it holistically, um, by mixing multiple things together depending on your level of attainment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how fast you think that you can spiritually develop from where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody don't got the same prescription because everybody's body is different, even if the disease is the same,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So you got to treat people on an individual by individual basis, but you give them a rough outline, right? And that's the outline. Clean the filters, right? Clean the heavy metals, avoid the saturated fats,
Mm-hmm.
replace them with the unsaturated fats. Stop cooking with canola oil, corn oil. Cook with peanut oil, olive oil, and don't use margarine. Use butter. A lot of people don't know margarine is made. It's a byproduct of the industrial oil industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're talking about motor oil industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the what it's made out of a thinner strain of the oil.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to go to the if you're gonna eat, um beat the butter. The butter is better for you than the margarine.
Indeed. Man, Rob, once again, thank you. Tell the people how they can reach out to you if they want to get in touch with you.
Y'all catch me on Morpheus Mystic Magus
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram. Um, Rod Hayes on Facebook. My Rod Hayes Instagram is closed, so I'm gonna have to boot up another channel for a backup.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at. That's where you find me.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'd be on Brother Rich Show clowning.
Indeed, indeed. Man, Rod, thanks once again. Thank you to everybody who's a Patreon member, a Patreon supporter. These videos are special for you, and I thank you for watching. I hope everybody does the research that this brother's talking about to tap more into the knowledge, information, and wisdom so we could be the greatest versions of ourselves. And with that being said, this is Brother Rich, Rod Hayes. We signing out, family. See you next time. Peace.
Peace.
All right.